Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing today? I do realize that there's a lot of streamers that are live right now. I'm checking out sptv.space and looks like Natalie's still online. I actually have her playing on my TV still right now. Um, and I'll keep an eye on who's going live. I'll just be checking in with you guys throughout the day because those of you that are members of my channel and that type of thing and have communicated with me know I'm kind of in a panic mode because I've been applying for jobs consistently a lot for the last 6 months and am coming up kind of in a panic scenario here because I probably only have one or two more payments from unemployment before I have no income coming in, and I'm already kind of behind on my bills to the degree that my um, landlord is being aggressive, especially. Um, I think it was on yesterday's live video, that I mentioned that um, I have not been on a yearly lease in a long time now. I moved into this little hole in the wall piece of poo. It's a house. It's a house. Okay. It's a roof. um, it's not bad, but it is what it is. Anyway, I moved in here about 7 years ago, and after the first year or two, she never had me re-sign a lease. So she kind of holds that threat over me that I'm a month-to-month renter and she can kick me out whenever I want. So it's not one of those things where I can get 2 or 3 months behind before she starts taking action. It's, a day, a week, 2 weeks, and she'll be selling it out from under me or giving me a 30-day vacate notice or something like that. So I've always been very, very, very good, even through these last 6 months, about minimizing those interactions with her. But now it's gotten more dicey than before. And now going forward, if I don't get a job on the very, very close horizon, it's going to get even more dicey. I did have a great interview yesterday. At least I hope it was great. I thought it was great. I really want that job. It would start on July 1st. I would start training. It would be a remote position. Yes. Um, and I think I mentioned yesterday that, the last job that laid me off, that was kind of a high control group, and I came away with some kind of PTSD type of, you know, ailments, whatever. Um, that they're a car dealership, and I said, "Ooh, I don't wanna do car sales." I kinda take that back. If there was another dealership anywhere within a decent driving distance and I wouldn't have to drive during, bad, sketchy winter weather, which I'm not good at, I would hurt myself or hurt somebody else, because there's a lot of mountain passes, between me and other cities that have probably more gainful employment than where I am. I would be driving in very sketchy conditions that I'm not well prepared for, being a flatlander from Florida, that I would put myself at risk or somebody else. Um, so I'm fine here in town, and I mean perfectly fine here in town where I'm not going through mountain passes and sketchy places. Um, but going back to the whole car sales thing, yeah, I would do car sales if there was another dealership in town. In fact, when I lost that position and was laid off, I did reach out to their biggest competitor that actually took over their number one or number two spot in the country, because I knew that dealership, who I called out in my first live, Mark Dodge in Louisiana. Can't remember the city. I want to say Port Charles, Lake Charles. Anyway, I reached out to them and said, "I want to work for you guys if you have any remote positions." And we tried it out for a couple weeks, but it negatively impacted my unemployment. And I wasn't sure what kind of income I was going to get from Mark Dodge. Um, so I kind of had to bow out. Um, and I can't go back to them really and ask them to work for them unless they can guarantee me a full-time income with benefits. I can't do a commission-based position being remote, especially when I experienced the number of leads that they were getting. It would put me in a precarious position again. Um, but they are a great dealership. If I worked near them, heck yeah, I would sell cars for them because they have great personalities. They seem like a phenomenal management team. They care about their employees and their customers. They seem to manage their business very well. I have nothing but amazing things to say about them. So if you're in the market, especially for a Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, I and they do business all over the country. The other dealership that I worked for was the number one Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram dealership in the country for decades. Um, and we're in the middle of nowhere, Idaho, and they were shipping vehicles to Hawaii, Alaska, all over the country because of how they managed their business. They were consistently number one, but management changed. And their business structure changed, and they lost their foothold in a lot of those niches. And other dealerships like Mark Dodge um, took those previous, I want to say, what do I say? They just took those mindsets and the way that the other dealership that I worked for. I don't want to name them because it might bring the curse of the devil upon me, um, much like a cult. Um, so I don't even want to say their name. But what they did right, other dealerships took that format and made it better, did it better. And while this past employer of mine changed up their mentality and didn't adjust well to the environment, the changing environment during and after COVID, which they could have, they did actually benefit greatly from the COVID scenario because we were open the whole entire time and kind of was one of the only dealerships you could go to, and they had a huge volume. But that being said, I just wanted to correct myself. I think I came off kind of sketchy yesterday. Like, I'm struggling finding a job, and it's like, oh no, I don't want to be a car salesman. Ew. Um, that was bad because I need a job. I would do it tomorrow. I would start tomorrow. um, I'm good at it. I love my customers. I went into the job that I had not knowing anything about vehicles. And by the time I was done, you could have asked me towing capacities and all kinds of stuff on, heavy duty trucks and gross vehicle weight. And I mean, I studied my stuff and I got to know, that's how I am as an employee. That's how I am. I want to become, as close to a subject matter expert as possible on the things that I have my fingers on and that I'm involved in. So I just wanted to clarify that because I don't want anybody seeing my content to think that, oh, I'm trying to panhandle on YouTube because I'm trying to do some, self fundraising. Oh my gosh, I could go do a GoFundMe, but first of all, I don't have anybody to share it with. I'm an introvert. I don't have I don't go out and party with people. I, I don't have, I've always been one of those one-on-one friendship kind of people. I've not really ever had like a huge group of friends. I've always had very small, controlled one, two, or three close friends. And then the majority of my friends were family connected or Kingdom Hall connected, being a Jehovah's Witness. So I'm no longer a Jehovah's Witness and have been disassociated from the faith for a long time. And if I was going, I would probably be disfellowshipped already. Um, uh, I just I don't have those connections. So it's not like if I started a GoFundMe that I would have nobody to share it with. I mean, quite frankly, my community has become the YouTube community. And even in that, the content that I've been creating lately has mostly been, educational videos. And yes, I use AI because I don't know a lot about video creations, and I'm learning. I'm learning. And if I ever get a good job, I'll invest in some decent software to make some, from scratch videos and get a little more creative that way because I think I have it in me. I've done a lot of marketing in my positions in the past. I've done digital and print marketing and have won some awards that way. I've never done from scratch videos though. I can piece together stuff, and with AI and the options, it makes it a whole lot easier. So, um, even in the communities that I'm involved in online, um, and the other groups that I'm subscribed to, I remember saying in some chat rooms, "You'll never see my face. I'm never going live." I'm not. But at this point, number one, to build that relationship better with the community, to gain more subscribers, to gain trust and validation and authenticity. I think it's important for people to see my face. I'm also, maybe it's a mistake, but I have shared my channel with Mark Dodge in Louisiana saying, hey, if this skill set or if there's something else I can do for your company, let me know. Otherwise, please share, my channel. Um, eh, I would hope that it would bring some type of benefit if somebody looked at me as an employee, that I'm developing new skill sets and I'm trying to expand my horizons that way. That's the way I kind of would look at it. I'm not trying to be, and that's one of the reasons I'm not trying to be controversial in my content. I'm not trying to call people out, and there's a lot of drama going on. The stuff that I watch that's in the subject matter of cults and that type of thing, and the content that I do that's educational and that I'll be doing more of, and high control religions, and I'm probably going to get more into high control workplaces because I have experienced a couple of those, and they can be just as damaging as religions and cults. So I might get into that as well, but I think it's important for people to see the authenticity of the person behind those videos, and that it's not just somebody sitting behind a computer pressing buttons, that there's somebody trying. I want to monetize this channel. I want to grow this channel. It's not there yet. And so I don't like to be seeing somebody made a comment that I'm panhandling. And maybe it is that way. Maybe you can see me as, somebody getting out of a car on the, at a stoplight and, walking around between the cars with buckets. And, you know, God forbid if they're in that position, then they're in that position for a reason. I'm in the position that I'm in for a reason. It's not like I'm not trying. um, I'm not involved in any organized religion, so I don't have a congregation to support me, to talk on the phones with. Ooh, just a second. Natalie ended her stream, so let me back up and see if anybody else is online. Um, let's see. By the way, I watch a lot of van lifers, and I want to become a van lifer. I don't know if I go full time right away. Probably not. Obviously, I got to fix my van. I'm gonna set up a no build in it and all that. So I do watch a lot of van life content. I think the things uh, okay, we'll go down this hole in a minute. I need to go back to, you know, my intentions with this channel, being accused of panhandling. Um, why I am reaching out to the community is because I've seen the community help so many others with emotional support, with emotional support is probably what I need more than anything, but because I don't have, a whole lot of connections, um, which I'll tie in a minute to my thumbnail. Um, and I've just seen so many people come through, and I was just watching Reese, relatable Reese. Um, I'm gonna give a quick review as a viewer of her channel, um, because each of the creators that I watch online um, means something different to me. How do I? We'll get to that. So I'm going to start with relatable Reese. Um, I've been watching her for a long time since she was called out on growing up in Scientology on Aaron's channel, Aaron Smith Levin, and her channel is really very very different. Um, there's a lot of drama goes on in the ex Scientology community in terms of creators and, do you follow the Aftermath Foundation? Do you follow the SPTV creators? I'm not going to get into that right now. Again, I don't want to be controversial. That's not it's not my intention. If I got controversial, I might have thousands of followers, because the more um, controversy and you know debate and aggression and all that seems to drive viewers more than a lot of other things, aside from somebody like relatable Reese from day one has just spoken her truth. It's never been about speaking anybody else's truth. It's not been about, and she's made comments that she really doesn't watch other creators content all that often, if at all, um, aside from the lifeboat. So her content is very, well, like her name, relatable. Um, a relationship, being a mom, having a kid, having pets, having dogs and cats, and you ought to see how she talks to her animals like they're babies. It reminds me of me sometimes. Um, so her as a creator, she grew very fast because she was showing her face from day one. Unlike me, hiding behind these educational videos, she's been showing her face since day one. She's very authentic. She just sits there and talks. Just sits there and talks to her, commenters, to her viewers. Now, granted, she had a lot of built-in viewers going into it because she inherited a lot from growing up in Scientology and that community where I'm starting from scratch, absolutely scratch. And I'm happy I'm up to 114. But from the first video I watched, um, probably until the one I just watched earlier, I don't see much of a difference in her aside from personal growth. She's still very authentic. She sits in front of her. There's been a few times where she's done like some clothing streams from her employment, her place that she used to work at, where she's walked by and done some videos um, outside of a Scientology center. But otherwise, she just sits there and talks to her people about struggles in life, about her emotional or mental state, about something that surprised her, about her blush or her lipstick. I mean, she is so real. Um, and that's one of the reasons I think this is my fourth live. That's one of the reasons I had to break through my introversion, my introverted personality, um, and my own mental and emotional barriers to actually let you guys see my face. Um, I it's what I fell in love with about, Relatable Reese and her channel. Am I one of the people that she talks to or text messages or talks to the phone on? No, because for the most part, I've always just been a lurker. One of the reasons I've been a lurker is because, like I've addressed before, I have an animal that's very jealous of my laptop and my cell phone. And when she sees a laptop on my lap or my cell phone in my hand, she's like a child and gets up in my lap and starts pushing them away. Right now, she's asleep beside me. So I'm having some peace, so I'm not gonna say her name just now, not because that her eyes will perk up and then that'll be like, "Ooh, mama's talking." Um, so yeah, that's one of the things that I benefited from Reese. And no, she doesn't know me, but she's had a huge, huge impact on me in just her authenticity and not becoming somebody else. She's pretty much just been um, a person that has shared who she is and has gained, thousands of friends and probably what she would consider family for the most part, and loss of, real family from, um, being a suppressive person in Scientology. So, and that's just her being her. And yeah, she might have changed in ways of growth and emotional growth and that type of thing, but she's she's so authentic, and she doesn't have to pretend and post any. I always thought that to be a YouTube creator, you had to come up with some kind of amazing idea or product or content that was my glasses are hurting my head right now. It's like starting a headache. Anyway, uh the see, I never do that the right way. All right. So what I was going to say is I always thought that to have a YouTube channel, you had some kind of brilliant game plan, because you watch all of these things on YouTube of how to have this, YouTube channel and how to get, blah blah blah. And it's you need to, do research and keyword searches and this and that, and this is how Reese and Natalie and many others that I watch have grown just from being in a community that cares about people. Um, and a community of creators that don't mind sharing that community, that talk about one another and support one another and encourage people to go to their channels and view their content and help them. It's not about some product that they're selling. And so, how that's affected me as a panhandler on YouTube is that it's something different. The people who watch these channels, including myself, care about the creators from a different standpoint of, um, you know, I don't know, keyword and clicks. And I mean, the clicks and the algorithms matter and all that kind of stuff. But these people are so real. Um, I just talked about Relatable Reese. Natalie's another one that grew very, 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 very fast. She has a particular um, format where Reese is just Reese. Reese is her product. The product is Reese. Um, with Natalie, it's she's kind of like a news person. She's kind of like the morning wrap up of the news before in Scientology and the anti-Scientology movement. So she's like, yeah, a daily recap, a daily news source. And she does that very well. And for her, how she comes across to me, again, being authentic, because she shared a lot of her life. Her face is right there. Tony, her partner, who just passed away from cancer, um, and he was never in Scientology. He became a part of the community as her moderator, as her, life partner, and that type of thing. The community pulled together very quickly for her. Would you have been able to see that on, I don't know, I don't want to say Mr. Beast because I don't even watch Mr. Beast, but some high level creator, that's do they really build that community other than just viewers? Not sure. Not sure. Probably not, because I can watch those kind of things. I can watch this, um, chasing the click creators. Um, and not be personally invested in whether I see them tomorrow. I get interested in, what crazy thing is Mr. Beast going to do next. But other than that, do I care about him as a person, or is he just a creator to me? He's just a creator to me. I don't, I don't necessarily care about him as a person. I can say that about probably 100, 200 other, channels that pop up in my recommendation list. But do I care about Relatable Reese and what's happening to her? Yes. I probably know more about her life than anybody in my family that has disassociated from me. I mean, do I care about Natalie? Hell yeah. I was crying the whole entire time she was going with the health struggles with Tony and the loss of Tony. The whole community was crying for her and brokenhearted. And every other creator um, took time out to put a hold on their personal content to address her struggles. Um, Nora, oh no, Nora, she is like the encyclopedia. She's like the encyclopedia of what you really want to know about um, being in Scientology and being gay in Scientology. Which, by the way, I've become a board member. I am hetero. I don't know why I need to say that. I'm a she. I don't know why I need to say that. Why do we all have titles? But anyway, I was accepted on a local board, SV, like Silver Valley Pride. It is a uh, foundation for the LGBTQIA community here in the Silver Valley in Idaho. And I'm a board member. It's a non-paid position, but I have a lot of time, and I was talking to somebody about, wanting to start a nonprofit or get involved in a nonprofit and just do something for the community. And I was quickly suggested to get in contact with that foundation because they were looking for board members, and I was accepted to the board, and I'm kind of creating some educational videos for them right now. They're going to have well, my therapist just woke up. They're going to have a pool bash next month that they already had planned and in the running or on the calendar. So I'm new to it. I've only been to one meeting so far, but I'm kind of excited about those opportunities. But going back to Ona Nora, she's like the encyclopedia. And she's so well spoken, and even with her well spokenness, because she was a word clearer, her play on words is fun. And subscribe, or however she says it, and her garage. um, and then one of the reasons that my YouTube channel even exists is Liz Ferris. Um, Liz Ferris is again, most authentic, in your face, live stream content creators you can come across. Sorry about my dog. My therapist is knocking around my table. But she has had meltdowns. She has cried. She's cried. She's yelled. She's threatened to quit YouTube. She has been authentically herself. She also is a Scientologist that is gay, that can speak to her experience that way, and this, being a suppressive from being a former Scientologist. And she actually is the reason my channel, she doesn't know it so much. I think I sent her an email saying, hey, by the way, I started a channel because you encouraged me to do so. Now, her encouragement was probably very much off the cuff. She probably doesn't remember even saying it to me, to create a channel, because I'm in the middle of nowhere, Idaho. I'm not near an org. I can't help the protesters, that are out on the front lines. And, her comment, well, start a channel. I was like, yeah, why not? I'm trying to find a job and don't have anything better to do, so I'll do it. So thank you, Liz Ferris. And so those have been my influences. And the reason that they've been my influences is because even though I've been a lurker in most of their channels, because this always happens, anytime I get my laptop out or my cell phone out, the only reason she's not being super aggressive is because right now my laptop's on a little table in front of me. If it was on my lap, she would be pushing it out of my hands. I mean, you saw her trying to look at it. She's very jealous of my phone and anything that I can use as a commenting tool when I'm watching any of the creators. She gets in the middle of it. She's like a child. So which goes into my struggles with emotional and mental pain and anxiety and trauma with what I'm going through from being unemployed. I put in the thumbnail that I can't afford a therapist and go to therapy. Um, and the more financially uh, daunting things look with unemployment ending and not having a job, uh, the less successful I am at keeping back the tears and the fear and just wanting to stay in bed all day. Um, what keeps me motivated is this thing on my lap right now. um, she brings a smile to my face every time I see her face. Um, she's such a happy and sweet and unconditional, loving animal. I think I would not be as mentally and emotionally able to deal with what I'm going through. Oops, and she's messing with my my computer. Just a second. Um, if she wasn't in my life, I would certainly be going a little nuts right now. Um, more so than probably would be comfortable. So between her and some medication that I already have prescribed by a doctor, um, that's probably the biggest reason I am not having a meltdown and crying and just freaking out. Just totally freaking out. Um, so panhandler or not, YouTube panhandler or not, I do have and this channel is not monetized and won't be for a very long time just because I don't have a lot of subscribers. I don't have a lot of view time. It's going to be a long time before this channel becomes monetized at any level or gets to the level where I can have memberships or super chats or anything like that. So I don't have that avenue to panhandle. So I have my Venmo, my PayPal, and my um, Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. The links are in the description of the video and of my channel. And today is a very, very, very key day in terms of my communication and my future tenant history with my landlord. Uh, if I don't get her paid today, or I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Probably a 30-day vacate notice, in which I have nowhere to go because there's nothing affordable out there. Um, and I don't have first, last, and security to be able, I mean, that would put me in an even worse position. So again, I'm not going to cry because I have my baby on my lap. My therapist. My therapist. Yes, you're my therapist, aren't you? Oh, she's so pretty. Are you my Cora pretty baby? I should talk to you like Reese talks to her baby. She talks to her baby Gertie. She tells her that the angels made her. Yes. So anyway, I'll probably be checking into my live stream off and on throughout the day just because I need to talk this through because I'm having significant like anxiety attacks and I just if I don't log on and if I don't talk to somebody then I'm going to probably want to go get some alcohol and just go to sleep. So that's not good. Anywho, I'll probably, keep an eye on my channel and I'll probably schedule some lives a little later on. But I'm going to go ahead and let this therapist outside, my therapist, Cora, Dr. Cora, and sorry, she keeps bumping into the table. I'm going to let her outside and make some lunch, and I'll probably check in with you guys and just chat things through a little bit later. Oh, wait a minute. I see Brian Lewis. I'm sorry, Brian. I was sitting here dealing with Cora, my therapist. Sir, if you are still in the chat, I am so sorry I missed your comment. Really, really sorry. Um, oh, no worries. Puppies come first. Yes, she is my therapist. She is my therapist. But yeah, just keep an eye on my channel, Brian, and anybody else. This has been going on for about 35 minutes. I expected maybe to do another 10 minutes, but she's being a little wiggly butt. You have 3 dogs too. One day I'm going to have to talk about, I mentioned it yesterday, why she was my biggest mistake, but now she's my biggest love. But one day we'll talk about that story about how I almost gave you back. um, but I think I need to go take care of this, but I will again. I just need to talk, and I need people around me, or even if I'm talking just to a screen with nobody in it. I just need to talk myself through this anxiety that I'm currently facing. And I don't know. I liked talking about some of the creators that I watch. I think when I come back later, I want to talk about what I learned from Marilyn, um, and Aaron, and maybe even some of the van lifers I watch. Um, maybe that might even be an idea for some of the lives that I do. Maybe I'll just do, some recaps of some of my favorite van life videos I've watched, or, you know, um, comments from some of the creators that I've watched, that have been impactful to me. So that might be something. And maybe when I come back after lunch, after lunch, maybe when I come back after lunch, I'll touch on, because I didn't mention Marilyn. Marilyn's had a very big um, impact on me as well. One of the reasons I've decided, oh, and Susie, holy heck, Susie, absolutely love Susie. Um, so, and Rabbit, obviously, my name is Rabbit Flea. So, Rabbit from Down the Rabbit Hole News is definitely an inspiration. So, yeah, I think that's what I'll do. When I go live a little bit later, to get rid of some of this anxiety that I'm facing. Wait, my landlord has not texted me yet today, which is very amazing, but I expect it soon. Where's the freaking nanny? And it shouldn't be that way, because if I was landlord, I'd be harassing me too. So yeah, I think that's the plan. So later when I come back, whether you're here or not, Brian or anybody else, um, I think that's my plan. I'm going to talk about some things that I've learned from some of the other creators, and just talk things through and try and not have a panic attack. And yes. So I'll see you shortly. I'm going to go take care of this little rug rat, and thank God I don't have 3 dogs, Brian. And keep an eye on my channel. I'll schedule a live later, because I definitely need to talk. Um, but love anybody that watches this on the replay, and I'll see you here shortly. Thank you. Talk to you soon.